So, so anyway, what we can do here is everybody can take a turn controlling, looking at the breakout. You should be able to see the breakout rooms now. They don't have names, but at the bottom of your screen, the little 4 squares toward the right bottom. So whoever wants to go first. Okay, Kelly's going to go first. So if you want to assign people to the breakout rooms and send them in there, then, and don't assign me to one if you want to be able to talk to me about anything, because otherwise or you can come into the room to talk, whatever you want to do.
Can you change so once the meeting starts, then you can change the names of the breakout rooms?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you log in like 30 minutes early or 20 minutes or whatever, you can name the rooms then, and they'll stay for the whole meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, just don't waste your time. I spent a lot of time trying to name them ahead of time, and then they would just not be there when I went in. You must be muted or something, Kelly. I can't hear you. I can see your lips moving. Oh. It's weird because your mic is on, it says. While we are waiting for her.
How about now?
Oh, there. Now I can hear you.
You know what's happening? I sign in on my home computer, my personal computer, and I sign into the system when I'm working at home because I've been in the office. We've been in the whole time. And what's happening is the microphone is not working when I try to do that. It doesn't switch. And then I try to switch and it doesn't switch. So it's been a pain in the butt. And I apologize for that.
But those are good things to learn just
Exactly.
for when you're doing this kind of stuff from home or whatever. And that's, to me, one of the good reasons to do this is all those kind of things that you have to kind of work out and know, so that even if you plan on being in the office, maybe something happens and you can't be on interview day and you got to do it from home, then you don't end up with your lips moving and nobody knows.
Nobody can hear you. The other good thing is, it had happened to me last year, was the residents, we share a Zoom account. I got it for the residents. So they use it for grand rounds and everything else. Well, so I set up the interviews on the same Zoom account. Well, the residents were here before me and they were in the conference room and they logged into the account. So when I came into my office, I sat down at my desk, and I couldn't get breakout rooms.
Oh, wow.
OMG.
Yeah.
I was dying because it's like a half hour before people are starting to come in and I am panicking.
Oh, I bet.
We have a wonderful, wonderful fellowship coordinator here who actually, we did all the coordinators in the hospital got together and we did classes, Zoom classes for like 6 months. And we did them even after for other people that didn't have a chance to do what we're doing now. And a lot of those, they don't have interviews until later, like ours.
Right.
Even later than normal. So
yeah.
I called her in a panic. Thank God she answered. And I said, I don't know what to do. I started crying and I thought, they're going to kill me. Here, the residents logged in, like I said, in the conference room. I had to sign them out. And then I got back to my computer. I was like, oh my God, thank God. But we never even thought about it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right.
So the next time for something else, for the next interview, I you can't touch my computer.
Right.
My account, it's my account. Don't touch. So worked out, but it happens. It happens.
Yeah. There's a lot of kind of weird things like that can happen. And definitely you don't want it to be on interview day.
Exactly.
Because you're already, even when you've been doing this a while, virtual interviews are relatively new. And I don't care how long you've been doing it, you're always worried that something's going to mess up. You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
And then when it
And-
does, you're going, oh my God, the sky is falling. forever.
Exactly.
So,
And it was for me that day.
yeah. Oh, I bet.
One thing that I suggest, and I did it, and the residents, or not the residents, the students actually liked it, and I got a lot of comments on it. Before I would move them into a room, I would tell them where they were going. And a lot of coordinators were not doing that, but like I said, the feedback I was getting was, it was nice to know who I was going in the room with.
Well, see, now I send them a schedule the day before.
I did
And-
too.
Huh?
I did too.
Oh, well, to me, they should know then where they're going.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah.
I would just say to them as I was getting ready to move them,
Yeah.
you're going in with Dr. Lally.
Oh, uh-huh.
They're
'Cause
nervous
some people
too.
said they didn't send them a schedule, actually,
Yes.
which I thought, some people, I don't know if they just don't want to do it or they don't want them to know the order of who they're going to interview with. But yeah, I send them a schedule and I have to say, I expect them to be able to follow that schedule. And
Well,
so I didn't do that, and I probably wouldn't, just because I just want to be sure I put them in the right room. And sometimes for me, this also happened to me at our open house. One of my residents got there late,
mhm.
and I was actually in the process of moving residents between rooms.
Mhm.
And I was doing fine. I had my little, felt self-focused on, okay, I've moved this one into this one and this one into this one. And then she came in and I started talking to her and I completely lost the train of thought. And I forgot who I had moved where. And, thank God it was the residents I was moving and not the medical students. And so I was teasing her, saying, this is your fault because
Right.
you distracted me. And, and I was laughing. I mean, she was too, but anyway, so yeah, that's,
Everybody
Yeah.
does it a little different, but whatever works for you,
yeah, absolutely.
that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Me
I think
personally.
if I
this is
had to
what-
say somebody's name when I was doing it, unfortunately, if I'm have to look at that, it might go, oh, sorry, I can't handle that.
I understand. I had their pictures here in front of me, and it just, for me, it was helpful to
Sure.
know
Yeah.
who was going where, and in case something happened and whatever.
Right. Sure.
Anyway, so I'm going to assign you, Jacqueline, to breakout room 1. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
And so it's asking me, and I'm gonna say
I'm
join.
gonna, yes.
And I believe since, I can make everybody a co-host. And I think as a co-host, then you can actually see the breakout room thing and see what's happening. So that might be a good thing if you want to click on that breakout room.
It does, and I don't remember it doing that last year.
I think it's new. I think they've
Okay.
expanded this.
Good.
And
All right.
so, because, at the beginning, I don't think even a co-host could move people between
No,
breakout rooms.
I didn't use
So-
a co-host, so but even doing it this way, it's good to know where so-and-so, where they are.
Right,
So,
right. Well, and that's the thing, even like for this, for training though purposes, it's great because everybody can kind of see what's happening, even though they're not doing it. And I think the more
Exactly.
you see something,
Absolutely.
the more likely you are to remember it.
Exactly. So Kate, I'm going to move you to breakout room 2, just so we
Okay.
can have it, move people. And just hit join when you get there.
Okay.
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 Thank you. Okay. And I'm going to move, did she go there? Yes, she did. Okay. And I'm going to,
Bernadita joined us. Am I saying your
Yes.
name correctly, Bernadita?
just going to ask.
Very close. It's Bernardita.
Bernarita?
Bernardita.
Bernardita. Okay.
Bernard.
But you can call me
Bernardita.
Bernie.
Okay, Bernie sounds better.
I can handle Bernie. Yeah,
Sorry, I joined late.
no problem.
too.
That's all right.
I did too. Bernie, I'm going to move you to breakout room 3, just so we
Okay.
can, have some practice, and then I'm gonna move you back in a couple of seconds, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know if I should have stayed in the room or not.
No, I was just coming back to move you back into the room with us.
That's okay. You can be one of those rebels who comes in on their own, right? I had a couple of those last year who just like jump on back into the main room. I'm like, no, you're supposed to stay where I put you until I move you. Go back to the resident lounge.
Yeah, really. Leave us alone. So I moved everybody out and then I moved everybody back in. So now we're all in, we should all be in the main session.
Yes. And as you
Do the
all
broadcast.
see,
Go ahead.
everybody is still assigned to that room. So as I
Yes.
mentioned earlier, if you accidentally closed all rooms, especially during a virtual open house, when you might have a really large number of people in a room. Because I mean, at interviews, there's only going to be 2 people per room, but the reality is you still don't want to have to move everybody back into their rooms.
Right.
So the good thing is if you do accidentally do what I did and close all rooms, everybody stays assigned to that room that you initially had them in. And the other thing you want to look at is if you click up at the top of like by somebody's name and you hover over kind of to the right side and you see the assigned to, you know, you're going to have that for Kelly for some reason. Well, because she didn't move into a room. She was never assigned to a room. So she doesn't have one. But if you click on another person, like let's click on Jackie, then her options would be to move her to another room. And obviously for interviews, that's what you're going to use. You're going to be moving people from one room to another, whether, or unless you've decided to close all rooms in between, which personally I don't recommend just because you're going to then bring your faculty out.
No.
And, you know, to me, you want to make it as simple as you can and as clean as you can.
When we were ready to start our interviews, I moved all the faculty into their rooms and I moved all the residents into a separate room. And that way they were going to stay there. And then I would move them into a residence room, or I would move them into like a room just to know where they were. So when they were ready to go into the interview room, I didn't have to keep looking. So I
Right.
probably made it a little more difficult for myself, but it was okay. It worked out. And
Sure.
the only problem I had was I think 1 or 2 people didn't get moved correctly. And it happens. I mean, you're dealing with 30
A lot of people in,
all at the same time.
and the other thing is the way that the breakout room thing jumps. Have you all probably noticed that? Right?
Yes.
You've got
That's-
people in a room and you move somebody and the thing kind of jumps up. And so then you can actually move the wrong person because of the way it jumps.
And that's
So-
exactly what happened to me. And that's
Yeah.
why I was like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, that's what happened. And they were like, well, so-and-so came in. I'm like, I hit it, but you know, I apologize. They interviewed them and it worked, you know.
Right. I've gotten to where now I personally have just tried to do it a little slower
Yes.
so that it gives that little bit of time for that jump to happen before I hit the thing to move them again.
Yeah.
Because I did it once and I think it was like I put the wrong person in with Dr. Sue, who's our chairman, you know, and it's like, that's not the person I really want to screw up for. You know, if I'm going to screw up, I want it to be Dr. Moy. I want it to be Dr. Bird, right? Somebody that's just going to laugh. And not that Dr. Sue will get upset. He didn't.
Right.
He was fine. But I want him to think it just went perfectly, right? And there was no glitches or anything. So,
And I tried
able-
to do the same.
Are we able to move? Because last year, I guess we couldn't, right? We couldn't move someone from a breakout room back to the main room, right?
right. They have to move their self or you have to
Okay.
close the rooms, right?
Okay.
So the choice is you should be able to leave a room. When you're in a room, you should be able to leave that room at any time
Right.
by clicking the leave room. And then it'll
Right.
even ask you, do you want to leave the room or the meeting?
Yeah. Like
And
I did before,
but
right?
that's why I actually told my faculty to never leave the room,
Right.
because I didn't want them to accidentally leave the whole meeting and then they're going to get all befuddled because they got to log back in or whatever. So, and that's another thing, probably more for Kate, because everybody else did this last year, but it's a good idea to have like a dry run with your faculty. And even for us, you know, and I'm not talking about like a whole meeting day. I did like a little 10-minute, here's what's going to happen the day that you come to interviews. And I would literally just assign them to the room and I would explain to them, you're going to go in this room and then the people will come into you and you just stay there all day. You don't have to do anything except talk to the screen, you know.
Okay.
And I said, don't leave the room. But if you need me, there's a little button that you can say, you know, come, I need help or whatever it says. I don't even know what it says because I don't even know if I've ever really been in a breakout room much, you know.
Is that a
most-
chat button then that would be in the breakout room for them to communicate?
I'm sorry,
with?
what?
Is
Is
that
it
a
what?
chat button? Would that be a chat button in the room to communicate?
It's not a chat button. I think it's like a help or something. We'll have to see. We'll send every next person that does this who wants to move people around. And let's do this. Let's close all the rooms right now and unassign. Let's see if we can unassign. Oh, let's see here. What's that?
Yeah, they shouldn't be still in the breakout rooms. I'm not sure.
Well, they're not in there. They're
Yeah,
just still
yes, they're here.
assigned.
Just the names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different names. Okay.
So if I think, okay, I just went in and I unchecked the box
Okay.
by where their little number is on that
Yeah.
breakout screen. You see that box and you uncheck it and then that unassigns everyone. So then we can start over with whoever wants to kind of run the show again.
Okay.
And if, you know, if somebody who's already done it wants to do it, put me in a room and then I can see what that box is. Oh, and we do need to talk about the broadcast
Yes.
because that's an important thing, is that my faculty, I gave them a 2-minute warning, but then they also, Dr. Sue came and asked me if I could give them another warning, like a 30-second warning. So, because Kate, I don't know if you are familiar with this, but what happens when you move somebody is it. If they're in the middle of a sentence, too bad, it's over. So, and that's the other thing I explained to faculty in the dry run. You know, when I move someone, there's nothing, I have no way to know if they're in the middle of a sentence or you're in the middle of a sentence. So that's why I'm going to give you these. And I would show them the broadcast as well, so they could see where it came, because it's kind of small. They need to know where to look for it, because we can't make it bigger. We can't make it yellow highlighted.
I wish they would have changed that.
I do too. At least to
Yeah.
give you an option to change,
Exactly.
you know, the text formatting. It doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal to do that.
Great.
Stephanie, do you know, like right now, I clicked on breakout rooms for me and it says not started. And for like breakout room 1, I seem to be there, assigned there anyway, right? And breakout 2 has Kate and
Oh,
breakout
you're
3.
still showing assigned to them?
Yeah, like I'm still seeing
Because
everyone.
I unassigned everybody. So on my screen, nobody is assigned. So if I said to open the rooms right now, there's nobody in them. When
Okay,
I open the room,
now-
It just
now
did it.
Oh, now it just
Okay,
jumped.
okay.
Yeah.
so
Now
maybe I
it's
just
changed.
needed to click something.
Now it says unassigned and
Okay,
3 people are there, yeah.
right.
Okay.
So what did you do just now? You just said open.
I
all-
just clicked open all rooms.
Okay,
And when I did that, since nobody was assigned to a room, I guess it cleared it out.
yeah, that's
If
what
people had been assigned, then they would have moved into the room. And that's another thing you can't undo. Once you do it, that's going to happen. There's
Right.
no sorry, you know.
how did you unassign us? Like you just clicked on?
I clicked on, there's a number by the name. I
Yeah,
on that number, and a
Okay.
box opened and showed the names of everybody in the meeting, and there was a check by yours
Okay,
and by whoever else's, Kate's, and whoever was in a room, and I just unchecked the box,
okay,
and then it unassigned them, and they were no longer assigned to a room.
Now,
okay,
when I hovered, it just so you know, when I hovered, when they were still in the breakout rooms, but they were technically there, their names were there. It's exchange or move to.
yeah, I
Right.
saw that. I don't remember the exchange thing. Is that new?
Me neither.
That is new. No, that's also new. To be, and I don't know, the thing is, I guess if you just had two people, two rooms, you were moving people between, that would be helpful, because then
Right.
you just have to do that instead of, because
Out.
for me, like with my residents, when I was trying to move them between rooms, I could have just exchanged so-and-so and so-and-so, flipped
Right.
them, I guess. I've never
Right.
used it. We can
Yeah,
try
it's
it.
new. It's new.
We can try it when, whoever wants to go next,
Who's
because you
next?
have control to do whatever you want.
Jacqueline
I
or
can, yeah, I can do it. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna assign people, right, to
Uh-huh.
move them to, okay.
Mhm.
Let's see. I'm gonna move Kate to breakout room 1. And then, so initially it'll say not joined until she accepts it, I guess, right?
Right, or if she waits long enough, it will force her in.
Okay, okay,
So if you have a candidate who's maybe not paying attention, it will force them into the room
okay.
after a few seconds. I'm
Right.
not sure how long.
Okay, so Bernardita, I'm gonna move to breakout room 2.
I hope this continues just with virtual for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
I do too.
Me
You and
too.
me both.
Me too.
I am a big, big, big virtual interview
Me too.
proponent.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Me too.
Emily, I'm gonna move you to 3.
Sure.
Okay, so they're all in these rooms. I shouldn't move you, Stephanie, right?
You
No.
know, well, only if you don't want to talk to me, or you can come
No.
into a room and talk to me. It doesn't matter. As
Okay.
you see, though, the good thing is, though, you can kind of see on your screen. It
Yeah.
shows you who's not assigned. I don't know, does it show you that I'm not assigned, or
No, it
because I'm the
actually doesn't.
host?
Yeah,
I
it
think it's
doesn't.
because I'm the host.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
it's-
see that
it's not.
Kate from
But
1.
obviously that won't be a problem on a day. But you'll
Yeah.
see, like if somebody joins late, or if somebody loses their connection and they come back in, then that's where you're going to be looking to see,
Yeah.
that everybody's where they're supposed to be.
And now let me just click on Kelly. So it says main session. I can bring her back to this main session? Let me see.
If it says you can, yeah,
Yeah.
I see it down there, main session. Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, that's new too. I don't think that used to be there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think they had to come back, or you had to close the rooms.
Yeah, so I brought you back, Kelly. to
Thank
the
you.
main Yeah, and it let me do that. Like that was.
Right, that's an
Stephanie and I were
option,
saying-
not just a
yeah.
room, the main
That-
session.
Stephanie
Right.
and I were just saying that we didn't think that's how it worked last year. Let me bring
And it
back.
just said something different that I don't remember from last year either.
Oh,
It said not now. And I don't remember that. It says join. When you brought me back, it says join or not now. And I was thinking, wow, I didn't realize that.
Maybe, I wonder what happens if you say not now. Somebody
Right.
needs to say
Jack-
not now.
yeah.
Right. And see what happens.
Uh-huh.
Jack, move Stephanie for a second and see what it says.
All right, let me move. Wait, how do I move?
you don't mind,
I don't think it lets me move, Stephanie, or unless maybe from the
Oh,
3.
it won't let you give the host?
No,
Huh.
like, you don't show up as an option in my.
I guess
All right,
the
we'll
only
do it.
option I can have is to join a breakout room. I mean,
All
I
right,
can
do it to
join
me
it.
then.
Okay, I'll move.
And then I'll hit not now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move you to row 1. Let's see what happens. Did you say not now? Oh, she seems gone.
Well, she's gone. So if she said not now, it said sorry. Sorry.
I think that's what you
When
were
it's
saying
happening.
too, Stephanie, about that if they wait long enough, it's gonna move them anyway, right?
Right, right. That's what I think.
Let me see. Well, maybe if I try to move her back, let's see if she says not now when I try to bring her back to the main session, if anything happens. Let's see.
Oh, if she can say not now, then.
Yeah,
I mean, don't do it yet.
oops, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was gonna say, because I could go in and tell her to say not now.
You know what? I've done it and she's not coming back. So maybe she's saying not now, the little rebel.
Okay, I'm gonna go in there and see. I'll be right, well, no, here she comes. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Did you say not now when you were in the room?
Yes. And then it sent me the message again and said, and I said, hit join. But the first time I could hit not now.
Now that was just like when you were in
How
the
long
room
could you
and I
stay,
was
though?
trying to bring you back, right? When you were in the room and I was trying to bring you back to the main session, that's the only time you got the not now thing? Or did you also get it when I was trying to move you into the breakout
I
room?
got it again. I got it a second time. So I could have hit it again the second time. I guess you have to tell them to move.
I don't know if we want our faculty to know that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah. But the first time, because when I moved you into the breakout room, it took you. Like, so I
Yeah.
think even if you said not now, like it ignored you and took you anyway. it seems like.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I wonder in the breakout room, if you say not now, if it will let you stay there when
I
someone's trying
think
to move
so.
you
I,
out.
I feel like that's what it seems like happened with Kelly. Like I
But
think
I'm wondering if you can shut that off in your
Well,
set,
that's what I was gonna say. I'm
Yeah.
wondering that too.
because I don't want students knowing that. And I'm sure they do,
Right.
but yeah, that's scary.
So I just closed all the rooms so that I can look at the options.
Yeah.
And so if you want to open like now, well, let me see. So can you see the room and now
Yes.
like no one is assigned anymore? Well, no, I'm going
Oh,
to unassign
yeah,
everybody.
right now they look assigned still. I guess
I'm going
until
to
you
unassign
open.
and say open all rooms.
Yeah, so now they're
Okay.
not assigned, yeah.
Oh, but now with the rooms open, you can't see what I wanted to see. Okay,
I
now I'm going to
can see the
close the
back.
rooms. So now at the breakout room thing, it's blue now instead of red, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that little options box at the bottom left, that's your options for your breakout rooms. So
You
like
can open it.
you can set your timer at anywhere from 10 to 120 seconds. That's your countdown from when you close the rooms until they're going to move back into the main room. And then you have a choice. Obviously, you're not going to want your participants to choose any room, but you might want to allow them to return to the main session at any time. And so you
Mhm.
want to be sure that box is checked. And then the automatically move all assigned participants into breakout rooms. It's pretty much like opening the room. So honestly, I don't know what the purpose of that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't ever used it. I think it's kind of new. Maybe it's new. And then having the breakout rooms close automatically, I don't know that anybody would want to do that either,
No.
unless you were bringing everyone back into the room in between every interview session, which
Right.
I can't even imagine wanting to do that.
Right.
That seems like it's just way too much extra. So, Bernie, I don't know if you were here when we noticed this, but last year you had to set your breakout rooms all before you started your
Yeah.
meeting. This year you can add a room.
Oh.
There's a button.
Oh, right there, I see it.
So you can add rooms now on the fly in the meeting. So that's actually really good
That's
because that
cool.
was a weakness for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, do you want to go next?
Sure. Let's see if I can, let's see. I'm already lost. Hold on.
And we haven't done the broadcast message yet. It's
Not
all
as
right.
fast as I am. So.
That's why we're here in the no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
I know how to do this. I'm just drawing a blank.
It's like
Yeah.
Vegas, right? Like what happens in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
Agreed.
Okay. Did you guys get your invitations to the rooms?
Not yet.
Darn it. No? I don't know what I did wrong because I assigned you rooms.
Did you?
Yeah,
No, it looks, oh, breakout rooms not started, it says.
hold on.
Oh, I just got
Oh,
it.
I got
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just
Okay,
got
it
it.
just
I
came
had to
through.
open the rooms.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. And see,
All
that's the thing I had forgotten is that you can assign, like if you are having a talk before, say your program director is talking to the candidates before
Right.
interviews start, you can be putting everybody where you want them. And they're not going to go until you open the rooms.
Right.
So that's actually very good because
Yeah.
if they went as soon as you assign them, that could be disastrous.
well, see, that's
Exactly.
good to know. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay.
they will get, the interviewees will get this message that they're being invited to a room and they can click on join when they're
Yes.
ready to
Yes.
go. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And then the other thing we haven't talked about is the broadcast message.
oh, I
so
can
if-
try that.
Mhm. So you can, this is what I would use, Kate, to, and a lot of us used, to notify, like you give that warning. Interview will end in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Kate, when you go to a room, I'll send a message so you can see it.
Okay, great.
I'm going to say you have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, will you see this too?
I don't think, yes, I
Okay.
do see it. I can see it.
Okay.
I mean, the thing you have to remember is you're going to be the host.
Yeah.
Even if you have someone helping you, I would say you're going to be the host. You make them a co-host. You don't want them to accidentally, even if you have them assigning people, like you don't want them to send you to a room.
No.
So, and it doesn't look like anybody can assign me to a room. So that's actually good because if you do have people helping you,
The
want 'em to-
little broadcast message just kills me. I can't believe.
I know it's so
Make it bigger.
small.
It is small, huh?
Yeah,
It's
it is.
very small. Yeah.
But the faculty knew, and if I did a timer on my phone in front of me, it was just easier to do it that way.
That's what I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
guys
mean,
know about that online timer. I love that thing.
well, I do know about it, but one of our doctors who was interviewing had said before that she used it somewhere else, and she said it did not work for whatever reason. There was an issue with it, and she said, "I'd rather
I'm
not."
gonna just guess it might have been user issue,
Yes,
not timer issue.
yes,
So the thing is,
Yeah.
if you got it now and you started again, kind of just practice on how it works and get to learn it, it's really easy.
yeah,
But the great thing about it is for me, what I did is I set that timer. Jackie's still in her room.
Yeah. I closed the rooms.
Oh, okay. I don't know why she didn't come out.
Oh, now it says
Oh,
in
it's
breakout
still
rooms.
counting down.
More second. 3,
She'll
2,
be out.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
And here
I
she
don't
should
remember
go.
that from last year.
Yeah, that's been there, the countdown,
I don't
and you
remember
set that in the options of how
Okay.
long, like, for example, for this, let's just set it to 10 seconds. And that way it won't leave anybody very long. So Jackie, what we were just saying is, because a couple of people were using like a timer on their phone, and that's fine and dandy, but it's very limited. What I did is I actually opened up a bunch of timers in that online timer, and I'll put it in the chat box,
Yeah, I remember you had that time and date, right? It was from time and
and
date.
it was really helpful because I could start the timer. Our interviews were, say, 12 minutes long. So I could start the timer for 10 minutes, and then I had another one for 2 minutes. So that way I would know when the timer went off at 10 minutes, I need to send my broadcast message. And then you do have to restart. You have to start, actually, I think it'll go on in sync as long as you stay on. You don't have
Right.
to start and stop it. But that's why it's good to kind of play with it a little bit before you use it. And then we kind of got off. So then I could kind of still adjust it on the fly. Like while they were in the meeting, if we got started a little bit late or anything, then I could just reset it, start it back and give it 10 minutes or whatever.
You know,
And
what my problem is, and I wish mine was like yours, because you have everyone at 12 minutes, but my faculty, like there's one guy that is done in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
But
then there's other ones that are talkers and they want to keep going and so like they refuse to just everyone conform to,
Well, we told everybody 15 minutes,
yeah,
no matter what. And the guy that's our 2-minute guy,
yeah.
he didn't participate last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good because he's a 2-minute guy and we really
Right.
know that's
How much valuable information do you get
oh,
into?
I know. No, it's
You
ridiculous.
know,
yeah.
Unfortunately, my 2-minute guy is very high up on the totem pole. So
well, here's the thing, Jackie, what I would do with the 2-minute guy is just tell him to send the resident back to the main room when
Right.
he's done.
Right.
yeah,
And then you say, hi, so-and-so, and you put them in your, candidate lounge or wherever you have for him to wait.
okay,
The reality is that doesn't mess up your timers for everybody else.
okay,
So don't, if you think about it that way, because you're not timing the 2-minute guy, he's the one with the,
right,
going
right,
less than everybody else. If everybody else is going agreed on 15 minutes or whatever it is, then the timer is really helpful to kind of just keep you can see like what's going on. And I've used my timer on my phone when we had in-person interviews, but it was really like, it could be problematic. First of all, I was using a free one and sometimes it just decided it was tired of working because I guess it was free and I hadn't watched an ad or something. I don't know. But I really do. I would recommend at least kind of trying it and testing it because like I say, you can add like however many timers you want for as many minutes as you want them to be. And it just kind of keeps you from having, and then too, sometimes people text you on your phone while you're doing this, right? Because they can't really call you and they can't really, so that's the only way they can make contact with you that the candidates don't know about, right? So if you've got your phone tied up with a timer and they're instant, your chairman is texting you, you can't go, oh, sorry, I can't talk to you. My timer just went off,
right.
So I feel like it's a little simpler to keep your items kind of separate.
I will try it again. I will try it out. And once she said that, she was like, well, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That was the end of it. And for me, it worked out. It was fine on my phone. I mean, every single one of my friends, everybody knew, do not even think about bothering me. If I have a minute, I'll call or text you, if I have a minute. Otherwise, I'll talk to you at 5 o'clock when we're going to have drinks.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, I mean, it worked out fine for me.
Yeah. And that's really what matters.
And that's exactly. And if I started it, if they didn't start until 13 minutes, I knew enough to, adjust it in my head. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you got to really pay attention, but it's probably best to do it that way.
So, well, I just put it in the chat box, the
Thank
link to it. It's free. And like I say, I used it. We had 2 days of interviews. I used it both days and I really liked it. The only problem I ever had, and it wasn't really a problem, is if I forgot to start it if we had a break and I forgot to start it. But the reality is I got to remember to start it on my phone too.
Right.
Nothing other, it's user error. That's why I was saying probably the person that had a problem with it, it was user error. 90% of these kind of things, that's what it is. Because it's
and I did the same thing. Like if I forgot to hit it, even on my phone, I was like, all right, now I know. Okay.
You have to adjust it.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I did that on that. It's just that I only had to do it on that. And, so again, it helped me just because I wanted some different time things in there. I wanted like that 2-minute warning. And then when Dr. Sue asked for the 30-second warning, I adjusted my 2-minute one to be a minute and a half.
Right.
So that I'd notice in the 30-second. And then I don't have to be like staring at a timer on my phone, hoping I don't press the wrong button, hoping someone doesn't call me, robocall, trying to get me to get, a warranty on my car.
I know. I get those all the time. Yeah, scam likely. Stephanie, did you move, you moved everyone into their rooms and then once everyone was in there, then you started your 12-minute timer, right?
Right,
So
right.
maybe the first person who went in was really in there for, I don't know, 14.
Well, at the very beginning, obviously, everyone's going at the same time. So that timer is pretty accurate, right? Then what we did is after they were in the room, when it ended, I moved them into our our candidate lounge. And then because we had 7 people at a time, so I would move 7 people individually when I began the next one. So somebody would get a few extra seconds.
Exactly, right.
But it wasn't a very long time. And the reality is I usually tried to keep that order when I moved them, So
Right.
when I moved them out, the person who went in first went out first.
Right.
So it kind of evened out,
Okay.
But that definitely, and we didn't stay perfect. Like I said, I adjusted that timer a few times during the day because, we got a little bit off here and there, but it was definitely probably the most on time interview day we've ever had.
Oh, yeah. The chairman of my department called me the air traffic controller.
Yeah.
Which I think was a really good,
Absolutely.
Gave me props. So
I call myself the Wizard of Oz.
there you go. But we're seem to be in Tornado Alley now. I'm in and Pennsylvania, we're getting Tornado Alley over here. So I don't know. If we can do that or not.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure, yes.
So this is also new to me, and I've never done it before. So
good luck.
So you move the applicants into. So when it first starts, all the applicants are listed. You move them into the room to the faculty to be interviewed. At the end of the 12 minutes, do you move them back into like a waiting room and then redistribute them back into their next faculty interview?
So here, what I can do is kind of show you so that you'll see. I'm going to rename a couple of people just so that you'll actually kind of have a visual of what's happening. Okay. And I'm going to also rename the breakout room. So that way we can, let's see if I can do that. Okay.
And Kate, it seems like a lot right now, but it's fine. As long as you practice, you will be fine. And
Kate, you're welcome to come to as many of these as you want to, because sometimes just seeing it and hearing it gives you a lot of confidence. But hang on. So what I just did is I renamed rooms to Dr. No, Dr. Yes, and Candidate Lounge. And what I'm going to do now is also, because that's the thing I love about being the host. You can just do whatever you want to people. So I'm going to make Bernie the candidate.
Yay!
I'm going to make Jackie Dr. No. And I will make Kelly Dr. Yes.
Always.
No, you needed to make her James Bond.
Yeah. So now I'm going to, what I'm going to do is we're going to pretend everybody just got to the meeting, right? So while Dr. Chairman or whoever is talking, I'm going to be assigning everybody to the room I want them in. And so I assign Dr. No and the candidate, because they're going to interview with Dr. No first, to Dr. No's room. And then I assign Dr. Yes to her room.
So right now we don't, because you haven't opened the breakout rooms. We just
You don't even know what's happening.
Okay.
You're completely oblivious. You're listening to the chairman or whoever is talking. And then I'm going to open the rooms and you're invited to join. And if somebody wants to be.
Should I try not now or no?
You can try not now. Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. If somebody wants to be stubborn.
Oh, I was stubborn too.
Okay. And you can see if it lets you stay there or
I
it makes
said
you
not now. Yeah, I said not now, but I have a feeling I'll probably be drafted anyway.
I believe you will be, but let's wait it out and kind of see.
Yeah, that's what I was going to wait.
Good to know. If you're going to have the option to just stay here.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're off to see the wizard.
See, and now it's in my head. Thanks. It'll be,
Yeah. Well, it's been a while, but
yes,
now how would,
it just said it was going to close in 7 seconds. Huh.
closed it? Who closed the rooms?
The system, it came up and said all breakout
I
rooms.
know, but I didn't close the rooms.
I didn't.
No,
You did?
Anything.
No, no,
didn't?
no, no.
nobody
I
touched it.
didn't.
All I
That's
said was
weird.
Now, yeah, I just said not now, but it
That-
says Dr. No, and then it says candidate and Dr. No. Like, do you guys see
Right.
under breakout rooms?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's see here.
That
Stephanie,
happened to me last year, Stephanie. I
it says
turned away
Stephanie
from the
is
computer and
inviting-
looked and everybody was on my room. I was like, what the heck just happened?
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know how that happened. Why
It
they
says
would
Stephanie
close by
is
themselves.
inviting you to join Dr. No. Should I say
Yeah.
join? I guess I'll say join now.
All right,
Last
I'm
time I
gonna-
said not now, but.
Yeah, we want cooperative people. So if they don't cooperate, then they don't get an interview. Okay, so then Kate, once they're in their rooms and you have your timer going and, you know, blah, 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 you can look at your phone for 10 minutes and then your timer goes off. So you're going to, and I usually prepare my broadcast message and I usually will say, interview will end in 2 minutes. And so then when it goes off, I send that broadcast message and I believe you might even have seen it, but I think you were in there when you saw it. It's a pretty small blue box.
Yes, I can see it.
And
now.
it's so then after the candidate is through, because we give the faculty about 5 minutes in between meetings.
Yeah.
So then you're going to want to go over to the side and you're going to move the, well, we did move the candidate into the candidate lounge. Dr. Yes is our problem faculty member who can't do what as she is told, and that is to just stay in her room all day long until the end of all the interviews.
I forgot I was faculty.
That's all right.
Sorry.
That's all right. So I can move Dr. Yes, but I want you to notice this. I don't know if you can see what I see. If you click on where Dr. Yes is, can you see the like Dr. Yes not joined? Kate?
I can see, yes, when I do the drop down, I see Dr. S.
Okay, and so can you click on move to?
Yes.
So see when you want to move Dr. Yes somewhere, how now the problem Dr. Yes has caused for you because you can't move Dr. Yes into the room that Dr. Yes is supposed to be in. So that's why I suggested to everybody to have an extra room because I really don't want to move Dr. Yes into Dr. No's room and I don't want to move Dr. Yes into the candidate lounge. So what I'm going to have to do now is move Dr. Yes into the breakout room. And once Dr. Yes is in the breakout room, I can move Dr. Yes into her room.
Okay.
So that,
Do you move, so the doctors the faculty stay in their rooms, you're only moving candidates, correct?
exactly. That's what I was giving Kelly a hard time for moving out. But you can have this happen if someone loses their connection, right? And they have to rejoin the meeting.
Mhm.
You're going to have the same situation when they rejoin the meeting. I believe they're still going to be assigned to that room you had them assigned to. But once they come out of it, or if they accidentally come out or they think, you know, oh, I wanted to ask you a question or whatever, you need to know how to get them back in there. And you have to have a separate room to put them in to get them back because
Okay.
you can't move them back into the room that they've already been assigned to. And you're not going to want to stand there and tell them, oh, well, there should be a way for you to join. Look around your screen or whatever, right? You don't want to do that. So
Mhm.
you just want to be able to really manage the whole meeting. So,
Okay.
so then what I will do is when the candidate who didn't join the meeting, but when they're in the candidate lounge, so when they're in the lounge, then when I have a 5-minute timer for the actually 4 minutes, I put interviews will resume in 1 minute. And I will broadcast that to everyone so that faculty and the candidates know they're about to start again. And then I'll move them into the room they're supposed to be in for their next interview. So this time the candidate would be meeting with Dr. Yes, except that somehow Dr. Yes went into the candidate lounge because
Okay.
Dr. Yes is a troublemaker. So again, don't expect this to all make sense the first time you hear it, but it's not hard at all. It's just kind of really just doing it a few times. I told people last year, practice with your, if you got a husband, a sister, a child, a neighbor, a best friend, a grandmother, an aunt, whoever, people that in your office, practice a few times because that's all it really takes is just getting kind of comfortable with how everything works. Set it, if you can get a few people so you can set it up kind of like you would structure your interviews.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what you want, is you want to be able to say, okay, first I'm going to do this. They're going to all come into the room, to the main room, and I'm going to assign them. And that's the easiest one. And then I'm going to move them into a candidate lounge, or if you maybe have a room with residents who are in it, that can also be the place they go and they can talk for a couple of minutes to residents. A lot of people did that last year.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what they did last year as well.
And so,
So did everybody do about, so what they did last year, just looking back at the records, it was a 10-minute interview, and then there was about a 5-minute window just for buffer time?
that is actually completely up to whatever your program director wants to do. Some people do longer interviews, 20-minute interviews. I don't know if they have as many stations as we have. We have 7 total. Most of our 7, I guess probably 5 at least of our 7 have 2 faculty members in them.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Sue always interviews by himself, and Dr. Moy usually interviews by himself unless we have an odd number, and then he'll interview with someone if we need him to. He doesn't mind. So, so then we just decided on 12 minutes. Not just, you don't want it to be too long because you don't want it to be awkward. Like somebody thinks they're supposed to be in there for 15 or 20 minutes and then their Dr. 2 minute is done with them, right, in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So you don't want that. I'm going to rename you guys. If you, so anyway, that's really something for you to, you may be able to look at a schedule from last year that they have.
Yeah,
And
it seems like that's what they did. Our program director, he was alone, and then there were, so everybody had their own cubicle, but they did 2 at a time.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to try. Let me see here. I've now kind of opened up everybody again. They're not assigned. So if you want to go down to that breakout room and you can look at the options. If you want to try the whole thing, however you want to do it,
Okay.
go for it.
You're saying, Stephanie, close all breakout rooms when you unassign us, that's what you're hitting, right? Like close all the breakout rooms?
Yes, after I unassign you. But see, we didn't even get to that. I never closed the rooms during our meeting because what we did is Dr. Moy went into the candidate lounge at the end of the meeting. And because we use one Zoom ID for the entire day.
Mhm.
So I would actually have the next group of candidates coming into the waiting room when the last ones were leaving. So I would move Dr. Moy into the breakout room that we call the candidate lounge. And he went in there and just said to them, thank you for coming. If you have any questions, you're free to reach out to us or whatever. We will not be contacting you because that's not allowed. We don't expect you to send us a thank you note. You can do it. He would tell them all those things, right? And while that's happening, the new people are coming in. And then when they all left and they were basically just told, sign out, you can leave now. And then I would just move Dr. Moy back into his room.
Okay.
And so I didn't close the rooms for our interview day until the very end. We had 4 sessions during the day because we interviewed 28 people. And so at the end of the day at like 5 o'clock or whatever time it was, that's the only time I closed the rooms. And everybody.
What would you say about, since we are able to move candidates back to the main session this time around, it seems like, right? Or what would be your reasoning for, what if we did not have a candidate lounge and we just had the main session and the breakout rooms?
You could do it. Here's what I liked about not having the candidates come in the main session is, number one, if somebody came in early, right, then that could get kind of a little bit confusing about who's supposed to be where. I want to be, because I don't know these people. So it's not like I see Jackie and I know you. And so I know that you're supposed to be here. But let's say someone joins this meeting that I didn't expect. Then that could throw me off, right? So I'm doing it probably more for myself than for anybody else. I don't really, and especially getting toward the end. But you know how a lot of people like to log into the meeting early to be sure that everything works? So I don't want to, like I say, to kind of convolute what's going on and have this guy who's in the next session or the last session of the day coming in. And then I need to remember, because my timer's going off, who to move into.
Right, and because you had one Zoom, like my interview day, I have 3 different interview days on 3 different days. And different Zoom links for it. So, but yours was all on the same day, right?
Right. Well, we had 2 different days.
Okay.
And we had different Zooms for each day.
Right.
But we had 4 sessions per day.
Yeah.
So we had 7 candidates showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning. 7 showed up at 10:30 or 11, whatever the next one. So it was spread out during the day like that.
So those guys are the ones who could have messed you up. Like if the 11 o'clock ones came in early, then you were like, wait.
Right. It just might have kind of distracted me from what I need to do. And so I wanted it to go smooth. I didn't. And I feel like, I told you what happened when I had a resident come into my, virtual open house. It just kind of threw me off. And so, because I get pretty, when I'm doing that, I want to be really focused. I'm not trying to multitask there. I'm trying to focus and be sure that I do everything I need to do when I need to do it, exactly like I need to do it. So that the candidates don't think I'm a, screw up, and the faculty doesn't go, what in the world is going on, or whatever. So I just felt like it kept it cleaner. I knew exactly where those people were. I knew they were in that room. And like I say, once in a while, they would bump themselves into the main room. And I would just say, oh, okay, let me put you back in the candidate lounge, And I would just.
Did you have residents come and go to mingle with them in there?
No, we didn't.
We did.
We had our residents meet with them the night before in breakout rooms. We let them do that, but we didn't ask the residents to participate on the actual interview day.
Okay.
And I believe that's what we're going to do again this year. So really, the candidate lounge, one of their complaints about virtual interviews is that they don't get to meet the other medical students, right? On the regular, in an in-person interview season, they meet a bunch of people while they're in interviews. That little candidate lounge time gives them a chance to kind of say hi to each other. They know that I'm not listening, because usually when they all get there and we're waiting to start, nobody says anything. Last year, a couple of times I said, you guys should talk to each other.
Right.
If you were here in person, you'd be talking to each other. So go ahead, but they would be quiet because I was there. So if I have them in that lounge, I'm guessing they know that I can't hear them. Nobody else can hear them. So they can kind of talk and be themselves. And it gives them a little bit of decompression time to go, maybe go to the restroom if they needed to. In fact, I had one that actually either, I think, sent me a chat or maybe texted me. I can't remember, and said, I really have to go to the bathroom. Can you do something? And I said, okay, I'll move you out first into the candidate lounge first. So you'll have the maximum amount of time to go to the restroom or whatever. So, so that's my reasoning, I guess, for it.
Do you wait do you move everybody at the same time as soon as your timer goes off and then move them into the resident lounge? Or do you monitor and say, okay, Dr. Corcoran is done 3 minutes early, so I'll just move that candidate into the candidate lounge?
Well, you have no way to know Dr. Anybody is done. You can't hear what's happening. The only way you're going to know that so-and-so is done is if they text you or something and tell you they're done, or if the candidate comes into the main room.
Right.
Okay. And the same applies, I guess, if they're going over. So at the end of if I, say 10 minutes and
they don't get to go over. That's the beauty of this.
Right.
Oh,
that's the beauty of this, is that, and that's why you do a dry run with them, and you explain to them, I cannot hear you. I cannot chat with you. I cannot do anything when you're in a breakout room. It's like you don't exist, except that I can see your name, that you're in this breakout room. So when my timer goes off, and that's why you get these warnings, because the candidate will be sucked out of the room right then.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I, like I say, I would not even, I don't even know about this, not now thing. I don't like that, to be honest.
No, me neither.
I don't want the candidates saying not now and somehow causing the whole rooms to shut down.
Yeah.
I'm going to check my settings to see if, not just those settings, but your main settings in your account. I'm going to look there to see if you can shut that off, because I'm not going to want that either.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You might actually even want to just uncheck the allow participants to remove. Well, no, that's the move to the main session.
Right.
And that one, it didn't seem to be a problem.
No.
It's that letting them say they don't want to go. I don't like that.
Well, what I did was I gave them a 2-minute warning.
Right.
And I waited the 2 minutes and I pulled them out. And
Right.
that way,
right. No, that's what I did too. And I told them all, I
Yeah.
will be moving you.
yes.
You don't need to move yourself anywhere. And I tried to kind of tell that to the candidates before
Yes.
that we started. And when I did my little dry runs with all the faculty that we're going to be interviewing, I told them the same thing. I'm going to be moving everyone.
Right.
That way we know everybody gets moved when they're supposed to be moved and to the right room and all of those things.
Absolutely.
So
I found that to be the easiest. What I did was I had my faculty rooms, I had 2 resident rooms, and I had a candidate room, and it was just for me. That way, if the residents were not talking or a couple minutes before they were going to interview, I might move them into a separate, my separate room, so they could be by themselves, fix their shirt or whatever, you know what I mean? Get their smile on. And again, I got a little bit of good feedback about that. It was just, they had that minute to.
well, see, that's what my candidate lounge kind of does, because we don't have a residence there. So they kind of can be themselves with the other candidates. They're not
Yes.
really worried about them seeing them, pulling on their shirt and
Exactly.
straightening their tie or whatever they're doing. And so it's a little bit of a decompression kind of
Yes.
time when they don't have to be so on.
Yes.
So no matter what you choose to do, I think it is good, because the thing with the residents, it's the same thing. They're not going to want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing in the residence. So it's almost like another interview moment.
Right.
So you definitely do want to have say that you do have one of those resident rooms, and I've heard some people do this, like they actually have people in a resident room while other people are interviewing.
That's what I did.
See, ours weren't like that. Ours was a break for the faculty. It was 5 minutes for the faculty. So if they needed to go to the restroom or get a cup of coffee or whatever, and then it was 5 minutes for the candidates. But if you're having a resident room and have it the same length of time, then you can still have that little break, 5-minute break in between when the next interview, the next
And
round.
that's exactly
starts.
what we did. We had
Right.
15-minute interviews with 5 minutes in between. And then that's when I would move them into, the candidate lounge or whatever I
Right.
called it, and say,
Right.
okay, your interview with so-and-so is going to be in a couple of minutes.
Right,
I'll move you when it's time.
right,
That way
right.
they knew, okay, it's coming up.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Kate,
Schedule.
when Stephanie says that they won't go over, they can't go over, it's only because like you're pulling them out.
Yeah.
right, yes,
You're moving
absolutely.
them. That's why they
Yes.
can't go over.
right, right.
Okay.
And that's what I want.
Oh, me too, absolutely. And that's what I love the most about the virtual interviews, because we have a faculty member, our chairman,
Ours too.
who goes like, he would go 30 minutes with
Mm.
everybody. And the first year I was here, I actually didn't realize that. And we got so far behind because even though I would go and stand in his doorway, he would keep going.
Uh-huh.
That's what happened to me.
We got, like, I don't even know, like an hour and a half behind. It was like way off.
Yeah.
And so for the next year, I found a way. We used to have like a break for the candidates after a certain point. I put him right before their break.
Mhm.
So if he went over, he just went into their break and his own break.
Right.
So it didn't affect everyone else. So that worked a little better. But now I can just tell him, I am so sorry. We're
15
having
minutes.
these 12-minute interviews and I don't have any way to know if you're talking or not. So they're going to leave when 12 minutes comes.
I think the first or second one that he did, he was like, oh, I don't like that. But then it was okay after that, because
Mhm.
what they've done prior to me coming here was, when they were doing in person, was his assistant would be in his office and she would keep the time. So that way she would make it 15 minutes, but he would just keep talking. So she would do
Right.
what you did, go and stand in the door, and she'd actually say that, I'm sorry, the interview is over. It's time for the next person or whatever. So
Yeah.
but we had to have two people here, just one to control him and one to control everybody else.
Right.
And we did ours on Saturdays. So
We do ours on Saturday as well.
So we had two people here, for how many years, whatever. And
Right.
one a Saturday, and
Mhm.
that's overtime for
Right.
us, because we're not salary.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, we're not salary.
Well, that's actually better. Let me just tell you, it's better. I've been both. And now I can tell
I've been
you,
both. Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you.
especially in this job, because once they do that, and especially if your supervisor is not a person who really gets what you do,
Right.
she'll pile extra, try to pile. So
Yeah.
now what I have to do is make sure Dr. Moy knows. I mean, I've used the words like, I'm on a cliff here.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to jump. If anyone gives me one more thing to do, I'm going to jump.
Right.
And so that he can relay that to them. Stephanie's really busy. Please don't ask her to do some ridiculous, stupid thing that a student could do.
I pay bills for the office also, and our practice office. Besides everything I do for the
Oh my
residents,
gosh.
I handle all the students now. So all the student rotations, all the rotators, I handle all of that. And then I for 5 doctors, I do all their paperwork.
How many residents do you guys have?
We have 15.
2. And you can, so do you do any other things like I keep our conference calendar. And so I have to do, oh my
Yeah.
God.
I do that.
Oh my
The residents and I do it. So they
Oh,
give me all the date, they give me all the people, and then we have a template that we use for our academic schedule for the year. And if things change, I update it, and then it has to be put on our website. Oh yeah, I'm the website master now.
oh my gosh.
They don't realize. And so
You have a bed up there?
well, I should.
Yeah.
I
Well,
absolutely,
that's all the more reason you want to be hourly, because that's a lot.
no overtime now.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, no
Well,
overtime.
then, let me just tell you,
Guess what? If it's not done in 8 hours, it's not done in 8 hours.
that's right.
There's another day. Oh yeah, no.
And
So-
that's the thing that protects you, because I don't have that protection. I have to
Right.
get all this stuff done, and it doesn't matter if it takes me 8, 10, 12, 20, whatever,
But it's so not fair. It's
Yeah.
so not fair. They have no clue. Like Journal Club, we have Journal Club. It starts 6 o'clock. Now we don't have it during the summer. So our administrator forgot. So we have food delivered. So the food, comes 5:45 because the meeting starts at 6. You don't want to hear too early because it's hot most of the time.
right.
So I sent him an email like Monday night, and I said, Journal Club is the Wednesday night. Can I stay for an hour, maybe an hour and a half? He wrote back, and basically it ended up being, make sure the food is delivered by 5:30 and you can leave by 5:30, but come in at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I only worked 8 hours. And I had to
Yeah.
leave at 8:30, but the food did come. But by the time I set up the food, just put it out on the table, everything else was done. There's sodas and drinks and all that, and table covers. And by the time it was 20 to 6. So they got 10 more minutes out of me. But I
Yep.
ordered myself a dinner. So
Yeah, there you go.
it's that's nitty pitty, that's the part that's driving me crazy right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get it, but it's still a pain it's a pita, as they say.
Yep.
It's Friday though. I'm going to have lunch. I treat myself on Fridays to pizza.
Oh, all right, hooray.
Well, otherwise I eat yogurt all week.
Yeah.
Yogurt
Kate-
and an orange.
Kate, I don't think you ever moved. Did you do the moving and stuff yet?
I didn't, but I don't want to keep everybody on. I appreciate the help so much, and I'll probably log back in again. Just even knowing that I knew that there was a 5-minute buffer, and in my head I thought that was in case in between interviews, and I always thought that was just in case the interviews went long for some doctors as opposed to others. But it's good to know now that we cut them off at that 10 minutes, and the 5 minutes is for everybody just to reset and get a coffee or go to the bathroom if they need to. So just even that, was so helpful.
But I would make sure, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I would
No, I
make
was just
sure-
gonna say, you can join any of the meetings with this same Zoom link. And please feel free to come, although the September 10th one, the next one on Monday, I may need to move the time. I'm gonna email everybody for that, because I have another meeting I need to go to, a GME meeting. So if for some reason you wanted to come to that one on Monday, I think I'm gonna move it an hour ahead to 1 o'clock.
Okay, very good.
So,
What I was going to say, Kate, is make sure if you're going to do, 12 or 15-minute interviews and have the 5 minutes in between
Mhm.
and still pull everybody out, make sure your doctors know that.
Yeah.
Make sure they
Okay.
know that you're pulling them out after the 15 minutes.
Right.
Because again, the first one or two, they're going to be like, and then they'll get it after that. But you will
Okay.
have pushback if you
well,
don't.
and that's why the dry run helps, because
Yes.
what I did in the dry run is I would put them in to a room. And if I had more than one of them there, I would put a couple of them there, and that way they could kind of see what happens, and you're going to get this message, and then this person's going to disappear off of your
Right.
screen, and
Right.
they're
Okay.
going to be gone.
Yeah,
And they accept things, I think, when they know what's coming.
Right. That's why I said, if you
Right.
give them a heads up, the 5 minutes is not so they can keep talking. The 5 minutes is to give the next candidate and your doctor a 5-minute break to collect their thoughts or do their
Right.
evaluation or run to the bathroom. If they need more time, hey, I have no problem with that. They'll let me know.
Right,
Okay.
Like,
great.
yeah, don't say, oh, it's 5 extra minutes to chit chat, because
right.
that 5
Right.
minutes can turn into 10 or 15, and then you're totally screwed. And you're here till 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah, I think what Kelly says is very true, to talk to your faculty, because they're all different, and they all, like most of my guys, they don't want too many breaks at all. Like they just want to get it over with. So they're like, I'm done with this guy. Send me the next guy. Send me the, it's like
Right.
a mission to get through them as soon as possible.
Right.
Maybe they'll go to the bathroom once during the thing, but if not,
Right.
so talk to them. I mean, I don't know how
Yeah.
yours are, but well, look, you're in New York, so they may want to be done super quick. I don't know.
But they don't have the option if, say, that one says, I don't need that 5-minute break, keep them coming. I'm not going to do that because everybody
No.
has to stay on the
No.
same schedule.
You
Right.
want to keep it as simple for yourself. Okay. You're the one that has to run this. They don't have to run it. All they have to do is sit in their office and talk. They don't have to
Right.
worry about running it. So
Right.
you keep it as simple for yourself as you can. And I would be very honest with my program director, and I was with mine. I need to be sure I can keep this going the way it needs to go to make us look like we know what we're doing and that we're, on top of it and that whatever. So you need to definitely not,
Mhm.
there's no flexibility in whatever is decided. If it's 10-minute interviews, 15-minute interviews, 5 minutes in between each, 3 minutes in between each, whatever, it's for everybody. And
Right.
if they don't like it, like Mr. 2-minute for Kelly, then he won't interview. Right? And that's okay. We have plenty of other people to interview.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to make this easy for you. And
Right.
even though you want to tell them what's going on and they'll accept it, you got to lay down the law, because otherwise I'm telling you, it's going to be an all day thing.
And if you put it as make this run as smoothly as possible, we want to look good to the candidates. If we were doing it in person, we would want to look good. We don't, because if we think we want any of them to rank us highly, then we don't want them to think we're a bunch of screw ups.
Exactly.
Exactly. So,
and the candidates don't want it to be longer than that, because they're talking all day too, because
right,
the only
exactly.
interview they're doing, they may have 3 others the same day, or they had, 6 that during the week or whatever. So,
Right.
Bye, Bernie.
Bye, Bernie. See you later.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Have a good
Bernie.
weekend. Thank you so much.
Kate, like I said, I mean, I'm not an expert by no means, but just stay as calm as you possibly can. Try not to panic. And, just get a good night's rest the night before, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's just,
Well, and you're starting early, like this thing with the practicing. Just
Practice.
practice whenever you can, as much as you can. Because I told Dr. Moy last year, I said, I offered to do these test drive things. Yes, I want to help people. I like to help people, but I told him it made me almost like a Zoom expert.
exactly.
Because I spent so many hours in Zoom going through this, listening to things, talking to people about things or whatever. It helped me immensely.
Our
So-
coordinators, the coordinators in the hospital, we have a group, and we're going to do it again.
Right.
There's like 25 of us that get on a Zoom, and I think we have Tuesday. I think it's next Tuesday. We have a Zoom again. So I'm going to do it with them, even though I think I know what I need to do.
Sure.
I'm going to do it again with them, because
Sure.
there's new people that I want to help. From what
Exactly.
I'm saying, my experience,
Mm-hmm.
if I can help, I would. Kate,
Right.
listen, get my phone number. If you need help, call me, because
Thank
that's what we're here for. I mean, that's,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
This is a
post to the
great
group, if you have
Well-
questions or anything, you can post to the group and
exactly.
somebody usually will be able to answer your question.
Exactly.
Great,
And
thank you so
you could do a drive run with your family. If
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't
definitely.
have that luxury, but I know people that did it with their friends and their family, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they were done. And at least it gave them the tools to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
okay.
Thank
All
you all
right.
so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
luck,
Stephanie.
everybody. Thank
Appreciate
you.
this very
Yes,
much.
thank
You're
you,
very
Stephanie.
welcome.